51 at the Big 550 KTRS. In what has become an all too common occurrence, we had the incident last Thursday in a movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana, where a man by the name of John Hauser stood up about 20 minutes into a showing of Amy Schumer's terrific movie Trainwreck and started shooting. Killed 2 women, wounded 9 others, and made people at the rather full screening of that movie scramble. One of the heroic stories we heard was of a woman who went and, even though she'd been shot in the leg, managed to pull the fire alarm, and that brought the attention of the authorities, who were able to get there. But by that point, John Hauser was dead. We now have more information about who this guy was and how he got a gun and maybe why he did it from ABC's Jim Ryan. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Yes, and in fact, he had acquired that gun legally some time back. The gun was purchased in Alabama, the place where he came from, where Hauser had come from, sort of drifting around the South, eventually making his way to Louisiana. But this high-point 40 caliber semi-automatic pistol was bought at a pawn shop legally again in Phoenix City, Alabama. The governor of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, says it's not necessarily taking the guns out of the hands of people who have severe mental problems like this man apparently did have.
Why was he able to do that, considering this guy had been involuntarily hospitalized for mental conditions in Georgia?
Yeah, that's a great question. He had no criminal history, though. No serious crimes on his record, and so therefore was able to make this purchase. That's the point that I think Jindal is trying to get at, that besides looping in people and prohibiting folks from buying handguns if they have previous criminal records, they should also be prohibited if they have some sort of mental instability.
The interesting thing here is, even though he didn't have any convictions, there had been a complaint for domestic violence, which is what had led to him being denied a concealed weapons permit in Alabama in 2006. Yes. You would think that that sort of thing would stay on the record and prevent you from going in and purchasing a firearm later. You might think that. You'd be wrong, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're right, that you would. And that also goes back to the point about the continuing and lingering and long-term problems that he was having. It was his wife and his family that had won that protective order against Hauser way back in 2008. So we're talking about a long history of problems, of misbehavior, I suppose, on the one extreme, but also deep mental problems that lingered right up until the time of the shooting. Just a few days before this all happened, he had contact with people in a soup kitchen, at a gas station, at a restaurant, and in all of those instances leaving people shaking their heads and saying this guy is imbalanced, he's unbalanced at best, and perhaps dangerous at worst.
And on that note, they had interviewed the hotel worker that he had quite a bit of contact with leading up to the last couple of days, and they said he was like in quoting, he was like a kitten, and he would offer to do work for free at the hotel. So that kind of speaks to how he was on the other side of his mental illness. Are they looking into any possible other shootings, theater shootings, leading up to what happened? That's what I had read somewhere.
Yeah, well, considering that the James Holmes case is just winding down in Colorado,
yep.
He may have heard something about that, may have seen something. It's unusual that he would have chosen a movie theater to walk into and open fire. We hadn't really heard about that happening before Holmes, and it could be that this was sort of a copycat crime, that he followed the coverage of that. We don't know that. There is a journal that's been found, a journal that was in that motel room, that sort of paints the picture leading up to the shooting at the theater, and it may offer some insights. Investigators have not said about whether this was an attempt to copycat what happened in Aurora, Colorado.
Do we know that he was part of any extremist groups, Jim?
He had posted online some politically extreme views, but we don't know if he belonged to any organizations. That'll be part of the forensic investigation. You know, on the one hand, the shooting, the bloodshed came to a quick end when he killed himself. But on the other hand, that leaves us without many answers as to what was going on in his mind and in his life before this happened.
You know, one of the things that bugged me about the coverage of this in the first 24 hours was that people were asking Amy Schumer and Judd Apatow, who directed the movie, for comment on this, and the movie studio for comment on, as if they had anything to do with this. This was a guy who had mental problems, who had been able to get his hands on a gun, and had decided to act out some of his, I don't know, whether it's misogynist fantasies or what he was doing in that movie theater there. But the people who made what was being projected on the screen had nothing to do with that.
Well, right, you're right. I think it was Amy Schumer who tweeted out, sort of unprompted, as soon as she heard about this, she tweeted her condolences to the victims of this. And we saw the same thing happened in Colorado with the Batman movie that was showing at the time that James Holmes opened fire there. And movie theater companies also are having to deal with this, deciding whether or not to put security in place. And in fact, this theater does have security, but only on the weekends. And it's thought that's why he chose Thursday night to do this, because he knew that there'd be no off-duty security, off-duty police officers there standing security.
Yeah, but let's investigate that for just a moment. Let's say there's an off-duty cop in the lobby of the movie theater, or near the box office, or near the concession stand. That wouldn't have helped in this case. You're not going to have
it was
a
in the theater. The actual,
yeah. You're not going to have armed officers inside every movie theater of every showing of every movie in America. It's just not feasible. And even if it did, you're still going to have a guy who has a gun who's decided to use it against innocent people.
Right. The day after this, I started thinking, I wonder if this means that there'll be metal detectors set up in front of every movie theater as you walk in. At the same time, Holmes didn't walk in through the front door. He came in through a back door into the theater.
Right.
This guy apparently did walk through the front door. Would a metal detector have helped? Maybe. Maybe not. Would having a police officer in every one of the 15 or 16 theaters there help? Suddenly you're right. You start hitting on some financial unreality.
Yeah, and I think logistical reality, and I think impractical thinking about how you fight back against this sort of thing. That is not going to be the answer to have, armed, or let's have armed citizens in every one of these. That's not going to stop somebody who's determined to shoot people and kill them when he's sitting behind them in a movie theater. It's just impractical. By the way, did that movie theater close for a couple of days, Jim?
Right, yes. I mean, they just took down the crime scene tape yesterday. I think it's unlikely that they'll be showing movies there anytime soon. If Colorado's any indicator, I think it was weeks before they actually reopened it as a theater.
Yeah.
Are the funerals for the victims, aren't they today? Possible?
Yeah, the two women who were killed will be buried today. The vigils were held throughout the weekends for Jillian Johnson and for Macy Bro. Today they are to be laid to rest.
All right, Jim. Thanks for the update. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Jim Ryan, who's covering the story of the Lafayette Theater shooting for us here on the Big 550 KT.